Good evening. Welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting. I call the meeting to order at 7:10. Ellen and Kristen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I typically don't have a hard time being heard by anybody, so that's awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. So I'm going to shift things around a little bit. We have members of the golf committee here to talk about their signage. So I'm actually going to move them up. So I also want to say I have a hard stop at 9 o'clock tonight. I am traveling tomorrow and have to be at the airport by 4. So yeah,
You need to wait till twelve.
I know, exactly. Hard stop at 9. So first I would like to welcome these wonderful ladies from golf committee. If you just take a second and introduce yourself.
I'm Jennifer Selig. I'm the chair of the golf committee. Kathy Coburn, I'm a member of the golf committee. I'm Pat Valley, the secretary of the golf.
And everybody knows Mrs. Lau. Thank you, welcome, and thank you for coming. So one of the reasons we had invited them here is we've been talking a lot about signage and closing out projects. And there is a couple golf projects. One is the conservation restriction that was done on the golf course. There's funds left over for that, as well as the golf course restoration, which was for the parking lot and the retaining wall. So we have a couple things to think about tonight. I know we had talked about wanting to do a temporary sign there for the irrigation system, just so people know that, you know, that's funded with your CPA tax dollars. So there's actually two questions. One, we want to work out some language if possible for the temporary sign. And two, we need to decide, because it needs a permanent sign for the other two projects, does it make sense to wait until the irrigation is complete, or do we just do the signage knowing the final signage, knowing that the irrigation system is being done? So Grant is going, oh, sorry, go ahead, Kristen, sorry.
Well, I just want to, I got to apologize. So Travis, in case it influences discussion, Travis, Recreation Director, had forwarded me a picture of some community preservation signs that Tim, the previous director, left behind and he found. Unfortunately, I just was able to send it to your text. I don't know why my downloads off my phone aren't working, but all the CPC members now have that text. And again, I just raise it in case it becomes relevant in this particular discussion.
Share that.
Yeah,
I think if you give me a minute.
yeah, that would be great, Grant, if you could do that.
And I apologize. I don't know why normally I can download it and send it, but I could only get it to you on text.
That's how it always works. Thank you for sending this, Kristen.
No problem.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of a great sign.
Yeah.
So ladies will put it up on the screen for you.
Okay.
And while I don't remember the details, I'm assuming Tim has like something like 4 or 5 of these. So he would not just get these made without some prior approval. I have not yet had, he's in Florida at a conference. So I haven't been able to look back as to when we approved those. But again, Tim wouldn't go make signs without some prior approval. So I can look back and when I have time and find those minutes when presumably we got approval for this wording.
Yeah. And I think this is great. Kristen, I would just add, obviously naming the project, you know, specifically the irrigation system was funded, obviously not in part, but we could say by the residents of Southborough through the Community Preservation Act. I mean, I think something as simple as that. Go ahead, Freddie.
I do recall that language was approved for but I believe that the CPC was looking for something a little more substantial than these. What's the size of these? They're not very big.
No, but we could do bigger. I'm more focused on the language.
Oh, the language.
Yes.
Well, this is the language the CPC had approved. By the residents of Southborough through the Community Preservation Act. I'd also want to check if it was different at the South Union School, because that also has a sign that was approved.
So I'm looking for temporary. So I'm thinking
Well, there's temporary
during construction.
during construction, it's in progress, so you have a different type of a sign because this project, whatever it was funded, yeah. Or- I think it was a little bit different because it was construction in progress, but I think that would work for it as well. But
Again-
not if it's in part, because.
Right, in part would have to come out, but I would want to say, instead of saying this facility, I would want to specify the irrigation system.
Right, I'm sorry, I thought Christian was talking about the permanent signage, and I think
I
Ellen
didn't
and.
mean to jump ahead to recreation, but I was gonna bring it up during the recreation discussion, but since it's relevant to the golf course, I figured I'd share now.
Then how many signs of this type are there, do you know? Like, is there a stack of them
I
sitting
think
there?
I think he said he's got like 4 or 5 of them. I'm looking now.
I'd like to get everybody's thoughts, but I think something bigger,
Oh, no, he has 5.
you know,
Thank you.
What I typically see is once on a, you know,
the vinyl
no, like a frame around it on lakes.
for the temporary sign.
No, for the,
Okay,
what Chris
we're
was
just,
talking about, that's what this is, a permanent signage, and then Grant was talking about that, I think. Were you?
I was talking about temporary.
Okay,
so that's really the focus, because that part 2 to this discussion is, do we want to talk about the permanent sign when the irrigation system isn't done yet? When we're gonna want to have a permanent sign that references the CR, potentially the restoration of the parking and the irrigation.
I think it was a third project too.
Do you want to just use the temporary signs that you already have in the interest of saving money and getting things closed out and save the for the permanent sign to enumerate all of the,
Yeah, we can't close the projects out till the permanent sign is done. That's the problem.
okay.
So, but I wanna just focus on. Well. I was gonna focus on the temporary sign, but now thinking about it tonight, when is the golf course closing for the season?
It closes like right before Thanksgiving, they use that parking lot for the Christmas.
So I don't,
sales.
we could probably get a sign up for. But they also, actually, they use the parking lot for the trees.
The tree, right, yeah.
So it might be good to get something up
But it-
prior to the end of season, just
Or
a
that,
vinyl. for the
that would be,
irrigation
that would
system.
be a permanent sign, right? Because
No.
that project's done? No?
No, the irrigation system we're talking about.
Oh, I thought you also needed a sign for the parking lot on the wall.
We do, that's a permanent sign,
Right,
but we need a temporary sign,
so you need 2.
eventually, yes.
I mean,
Go
Grant, if you can scroll down, there's one up top,
The middle,
scroll up, CPA funds at work, that was the type of. Because it's a progress in work, you know, that was the type
Yeah,
of the
that's in
temporary signs,
Yeah.
it acknowledged that it's in progress and it's, you know. And it also, we used to have them, they were like. Your lawn signs for political
yeah,
campaigns, and we would bring them around to different projects when they were done, and I think getting a few of those made up once you have.
That might be good.
So that you would have it, and then when you were done, you could go to another place, if you. But unless you wanted it specific to the project while it's in progress.
thoughts, we'll go down the line, Katie, do you like that sign? And would you like to see it specific to the project or just general that could potentially be reused in the future as well, by leaving it generic?
Yeah, I would say keep it simple. I like this one, it's fun. It's funner than the plain one, or more fun, I don't even know. But, and then if we could reuse them, if it's temporary, that's great. And if people have questions, ask. Happy to answer, but keep it simple.
Okay, Claire?
I'm sorry, which one of these?
The middle one,
The middle one, okay,
Yes.
CPA funds at work,
yeah, for the irrigation system for the golf course specific. Yeah.
And you,
thank you.
Right.
Whoever's the
and then
number
you
is
see
there.
below where it says
Yeah,
project
I
funding
think,
from the.
I like this.
Yeah, and we would just adjust that.
Southborough,
Southborough,
yeah.
right. Okay, Grant?
Yeah, I like it as well. Ellen and I, when we looked into it, we're looking at the permanent signs rather than this.
Okay.
So, you know, I guess getting it a bunch made up by a sign company or something I'm sure there's some around, so.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
makes sense, yeah.
There's a sign
So
company
do
in
we have
Marlboro.
like specific colors that are Southborough's branding colors, or is that gonna be another discussion? We don't wanna use the same color, do we?
What color? Go ahead, Grant.
Oh, well, unless we steal it from Ashley, I think we'd have to design it ourselves, but. we could-
Yeah.
The language and stuff would be
Yeah.
similar.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was mainly focused on
Like
the
a good
language.
template.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And, okay, let me go to Kristen and first, and then we'll go to Ellen.
I agree.
Okay, Ellen?
Yep, I like this one. I like consistent language. I like something simple, straightforward. This is one Grant and I had looked at as a possible temporary sign, so I like this one.
Okay, ladies, your thoughts? Okay, you're good with the language and, okay, so the golf course committee is good. So that leads me to the second question. On a permanent sign, do we want to do something now that includes all three projects? I mean, I think that's a bigger discussion on the language that we specifically want to use. So, my suggestion is let's agree with the golf course committee here.
Ask a question?
Sure.
How many, I mean, the irrigation project covers 9 holes, like where do you just put it near the clubhouse? Like, do you want multiple? Like, how is that?
Just one, Freddie, you've done this more in the past. Typically,
For the typical, for the,
permanent, it'd be one.
are-
Oh, I was thinking
she's
for the ones
asking
in
about
progress.
temporary.
Oh.
I think you would want it like as you
Enter.
enter into the club, doesn't everyone enter into the clubhouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
wherever your entrance is, and then. And it's typically, be looking at locations similar to that for a permanent sign.
Yeah.
Because the committee had previously discussed that you have 3 projects, we're not gonna put 3, we're not gonna put one of these at each of the 9 homes.
No, yeah.
And, nobody wants sign pollution. The only other thing I recommend to consider is. Back in the day, we talked about having a sign out on Route 85.
Good luck with that. I only say it because even the golf course sign, you can't even see that it says golf course. I had to go to the DPW to cut the bushes down so people could.
I'm
see.
talking about, it's a conversation for another time, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying there had been like branding, because unless you know, it's kind of hard to know that you're going into the public safety building for golf. And, you
Right.
know, and it's also, even if you're not a golfer, having a big sign, Southborough Golf Club or whatever you
That would
call
be
it. And then that should also say if that gets built, that
Right.
should, because that's a
That would be
bigger
great to
sign
incorporate it.
on
Yeah.
Route 85.
So actually, Grant, if you go back to the one you had up initially from the website from.
Yep.
And if you look up, are you talking, Freddie, like when he brings this back up, the first sign, it's got the sign and underneath it, it just says your community preservation funds at work. Something like that attached to the bottom of the sign, like the green one? Are you talking about something like
Yeah,
that on the
something
golf
like
course
that.
sign?
Because it's not the only thing that
Right.
went into it, so you have to be careful, but yeah, something like that, but I think that looks really good, and if you just, but that's not
Right, that's
permanent
not
signage, I'm just throwing that out
Yeah.
there. Because you want permanent signage when
Right,
people walk
When
into the
it's when
golf
you
course.
finish. Yeah.
But it would be nice to identify it for anyone driving down Route 85, this beautiful golf course. For non-golfers, and advertising that CPA funds went into making this golf course,
Absolutely.
Okay.
So. It would be great if we could get a mock-up of this and get it done sooner rather than later with the golf season's ending before Thanksgiving. What colors, Claire? You mentioned colors. We have a couple choices. I mean, if Grant or Ellen want to. Give a couple options, something like this. Or do we want to just decide on colors? Tonight, and then we can just kind of.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to mock up a sign.
No, totally fine, totally fine. It would be.
Historical, I know we have someone on our committee who does whip them up really quickly and that kind of thing, but
You know what?
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, we're gonna be meeting again soon anyway. Let me talk to somebody and we'll see if they can mock it up in a couple different colors. How's that? And we'll bring it back to the next meeting. And then as long as you're in agreement with the language and
Yeah.
as long as they're talking, changing the colors, then, we can go to Gemini Sign or whoever and just get a sign made. I think they could do them at the Staples.
My only reason to mention that is that if the town, which if they do, I've missed it. If the town kind of has some standard colors that they use. I mean, I guess.
I don't necessarily think so.
White with the color.
Navy blue comes to mind. I know what you're saying, Claire. I think it's something we should look at.
Yeah, kind of like to stay consistent with if Southborough has any kind of branding,
Mhm.
that,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any, as you
Yeah,
wanna.
no, I'm
Our
not
birthday
either.
program, so I sometimes go with those
If they're-
Alpine colors,
If
but.
they're-
CPA,
if
so
they're
that's
raised,
like
kind of
11 minutes or
right,
something.
unknown.
Freddie just had a good point too. We may want to think about something more CPA branded.
Yeah.
Do our own brand versus, just something that's normally out there that somebody may not really pay attention to. If,
It's just another municipal building.
so, let's do that. We'll work on that for the next meeting, but as long as you ladies are good with the language we have and working with the language, we'll work towards that. And then I think for the temporary, that's a longer discussion.
Alright, yeah,
Permanent, sorry.
I think it makes sense to not have multiple signs for multiple projects and just condense it, essentially, so. Yeah.
Okay.
One side.
Okay, ladies,
Thank you.
thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. All right, so now we're gonna bop back on the agenda, the technical review of the 27 applications. I just want to say that this is a CPC review. I know we have new members here that haven't been through this process before. And we're looking for additional information or questions from the committee. And we're not looking for answers from the applicants. They'll be invited to a meeting in October and receive a letter from of our comments and questions. Ladies, Kristen and Ellen, I had put together, again, Claire made a good point prior to the meeting that she'd never been through this process before, so she didn't know. So I actually printed out here for everybody. I know you guys don't have it. Minutes from the last time we did the technical review, as well as the letters that were sent out to the applicants. They have a better idea of, what we're looking for. So, and Freddie, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't want to screw this up. This is the first time leading the technical review. So it's a 3-step process. It's if the applications meet the requirements, if the application is complete, and then a list of questions, comments, or additional information we're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, did you want to add to that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So does it meet the requirements of the CPA legislation? And if not, either is there something you feel that can be done to make it fit, or that it's close or whatever? If it's clearly not, then it's, and I don't think you have that problem today, but if it's not, then it's, that's another letter. But you also want to think what questions you first, is it complete? Like if they leave sections out, but even if they fill in a section, if it's not robust enough and you want more information, you would add that as a suggestion. And then any other information you'd be looking for. And that helps the applicant when they come back to give you everything you want, instead of then coming to a meeting and presenting and then giving them the information that you want. You need more information, and then they have to come back a second time. That could have been taken care of the first. That makes sense, Claire?
Yes.
Go ahead, Grant.
Sorry,
Sounds
just back on the previous topic.
Yes.
Before we move on, I was just thinking of how historical has done it in the past. As I said, we have our own person on the committee who does the mock-ups, but for some of our other ones, the company itself would actually do, I think it would be a free design, and then we would work with the company. So if we have the language that we want, and we're in a rush or whatever, then I think we could just go directly to the company and even probably give them a picture of what we want it to look like. And
Right.
Have them, create it for us, and then we can edit it or give them feedback on how we want to change it.
That's probably the quickest way to go to get something for our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
so is someone interested in doing that, or? I would be happy to go to a sign company and work with somebody to do that. So if someone would like to,
Happy
Wait,
to.
Lisa, we get signs made for rec all the time, so I'm happy to work with Travis I can ask Travis who he works with and we can go that route if that helps you.
okay, well, Ellen, you said that you'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, happy to work with Kristen, with you, Lisa, and whatever makes sense.
That's fine. Why don't the two of you connect and we'll come up with something for the next meeting. That would be great. Thank you, ladies.
Sounds good.
Okay, so why don't we look at the first application? Let's do the rural cemetery water tower restoration. Most of us are familiar with this. Claire and Katie aren't. That's why I thought it would be important for you to have the letter that we had written to Kevin and from the initial review, not a whole lot has changed from this. So, I mean, we still don't have a cost. He doesn't have the cost is to be determined once they have their meeting. I think it's Friday. Is it Friday?
Yeah, let's,
Okay, thank you, Grant. So. Costs, we talked about initially, because there is a. Family trust that does around this, they've got the flowers and stuff, we had asked about that, but that was resolved. We talked about whether the cemetery perpetual fund could fund this instead of CPA. Maintenance, that came back to DPW, and a preservation restriction. Tried to go back, I'm not sure that we got an answer on the preservation. Go ahead.
Preservation restriction, I don't know that we got an answer on the perpetual fund.
Okay,
I don't recall getting one.
I
okay,
know that, on the PR last time, that Kevin thought it wasn't necessary because it was already, it would be like in the middle of first of all, the building's so small. He thought it'd be hard to get over. That was his position. I don't know if we want to pursue it any further to,
What other
Big-
types of protection are there without
yeah,
full PR?
but I just wanted to put it out. That was his, that's what he said in response.
okay,
Can I
We'll just find
interject just 1 second, just administrative point?
course.
Since there's no one in the room anymore, is there any way to switch to just the view of you guys? Because then you'll be bigger.
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
don't know, Grant, do you know? I think it's set
No.
up with the camera.
I don't think with this camera, if we were all to go on our computers and
Yeah,
like. it
Oh,
would
no
look like we
worries
were-
about that. That's fine. Thank you. I just wanted to ask before we went further. Thank you.
I agree though, that would be nice.
so for me, I'd still like to ask the question again about the perpetual funds. I know he's answered it before, so it's probably an easy answer, and I'd still ask about the PR again, because I know that they thought initially, I'm just trying to go back to minutes from a prior meeting. That because it was such a small amount, it would be hard to get someone to take on a PR, and I think they mentioned was it Grant, the Mass Historical Commission?
They don't. put
Yeah,
yours.
that's Mass Preservation Projects Fund, I think it's probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been suggested that it might be eligible for an MPPF grant. And that would also provide for a preservation restriction held by the Mass Historical Commission. That's coming from the minutes. Does that make sense, Grant?
That does make sense to me.
Okay,
That's for those who aren't aware, that's a state program that, is used. I think it's can only be used for pretty major, actually, I'm not sure. I think it's up to $75,000 or up to $50,000. We're not sure right now of the costs, obviously, but
Yeah.
the last application was for 20. But I don't know the size of the grants, or if they typically only do major projects or what, so.
The grants are a match. And it's up to, I believe, 75,000, but historically, they only give like 50,000, and so that would be $100,000 project, but I don't know that I've ever heard whether they don't fund smaller projects.
Yeah, I'm also not sure.
again, these were just some of the questions, that we left over from last time. We can still leave them on here. I mean, I guess it's answered the question for me, but, we can certainly ask Kevin to come in and just have a conversation about it. You know, at the next meeting, I think for the new members too, that might be helpful.
So either I don't remember, which is probably the case, or I'm not a speed reader. So they pulled it, or it wasn't ready for prime time from last year?
So he was having do you want to answer this, Grant? I'm
Yeah,
happy to do
my
it.
I
sense
just
is
want
that
to flip
the
it.
commission was generally in support, or I would even say unanimously in support, but we didn't want to go to a vote, because we wanted to make sure that the materials used for replacing the roof were historically accurate, and Kevin gave his
Okay,
best
that-
estimate of what he thought would be the best,
Vaguely.
what the
Thank you.
material would be, but
Right.
they're, so essentially he's having a historic roofing consultant to go look at the building.
Okay.
And
All right, yeah,
He
that
couldn't
rings a
come
bell.
before town meeting.
Yeah.
So that's why it was held on.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
yes. So.
And I believe that consultant is coming out on Friday, but I don't know how long
Yeah.
it will take to actually get a.
And I can add to that, we
estimate.
had questions from, that I was asked to ask Community Preservation Coalition, which is our go-to to answer questions, and they had concerns on the materials, if you really needed to have some evidence from a professional. You can't, because it's a historic preservation, and if you're gonna add, new material on an existing,
Yeah, the new metal roof probably wouldn't
well,
work too well.
so.
From the historical standpoint with solar panels on
But
it.
there was, the question was, there was asphalt and there was this, what are they going
Gotcha.
for, the other material?
Cedar shapes.
Cedar shapes, which were, I think, quite a bit more expensive, but you needed to be sure that was what was there.
Very helpful.
So what I have that I'll put in the letter, we'll go down the line in case there's other things we want to add. We want to obviously get an exact cost. We want to know about the cemetery perpetual fund that has $1 million in it. Could be used to offset, and then I think for the preservation restriction, that would be a good conversation for Kevin to just explain for Claire and Katie who are new. So that might be just a good conversation to have. Is there anything else, Katie, you, in looking at the application, might like Kevin to, or the historical commission, sorry, comment on or provide more information on?
Maybe just the status of what the roof is now, like what it looks like.
Sure.
And maybe how old it is. It might be in there. I need
It
to
is.
It is, okay.
Yes.
And then, when was it done last and what was that process like?
Okay, so you're more looking for the historical process on this, that's
Yeah,
right.
'cause
Yep.
if it works before, maybe we can.
I don't think Granite's been done, has it, since they initially did it? I don't know that they.
I don't know, yeah,
Yeah, I don't
but
think,
that's not under, I think, UPW that's kind of had it under its control, so I don't know if they do this big or what.
and I'm wondering if it was in the last, I think some of the answers to some of those questions were in the last application. Having a detailed history with pictures going back, so that might be helpful as well, but maybe he can talk about the history of it, so.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was there.
Okay.
So this is great.
Okay, perfect. Claire, did you have anything?
I just answered my own question, which was.
Nice, we like when that happens.
When one reads what's in front of them, it helps out. So it had to do with the breakdown of the cost and that is, so it's $300,000 and
No,
no, okay.
20,000.
Where did I see 300?
Oh, that was for the one before it. If you look through the minutes, that was for the fire engine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, if
okay.
you go back, it's on page 5, Claire. Nope, that's not a new list. Sorry
I think
about
it's
that.
perfect. isn't
It's
it?
on the first page.
Is it on the first page?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, first page. Or 7, what? The minimum cost.
But that's just for the rot and the rafters. Aren't we talking the whole room?
So he will give a more detailed cost, Claire. when
I
he
got
comes
you.
in.
Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. So I'll stay tuned.
Perfect. Grant,
Thank you.
anything else?
Very
From you?
helpful. Thank you, Lisa.
No, nothing new. Just for reference, the prior year's application is still on the website.
Yes.
Under the 2025 town meeting. And I believe that the application, the roof was the main part, but I believe there was also some thing with the windows. There's like slot windows
Yeah.
or something that needed to be done. But I think the roof would be the main cost, is my guess, so.
You actually brought up a good point, Grant. Katie, can we add after tonight's meeting, can we add the 3 applications to the CPC website? And is there a way to move the old applications over to the side in some type of subfolder or something?
Yes.
Yep, awesome. Okay,
But no, I don't have anything else.
okay, thank you. Kristen?
I'm good. Sorry, I was in a file. I was looking at the application. I'm good.
Okay, great. Ellen?
I think just one small thing under the maintenance section.
Yeah.
So yeah, he noted that it would be covered by DPW under their own operating budget. So
Yeah.
maybe just some support from DPW that they are prepared to take that on. You know, I don't know that we need the details of like what that would entail, but are we talking like $100 in their budget, a few $1,000s, just making sure that DPW is on board with that.
Okay, so maybe a letter from Bill just saying that, you know, they would be doing the ongoing maintenance and. Are you looking for specific dollars for that, or just a commitment?
I think a commitment that, you know,
Okay,
yeah, that this will be in their budget.
okay, Freddie, did you have anything? on this
Yeah,
one?
I have a bunch.
Go ahead.
So starting at the beginning, and I'm not sure if this is, I understand there was some trouble with filling in. So if we start on the. Page 3. And this is something for me when I write the warrant article. It says, provide a project name. Okay, I don't see one. I see a description of what it is, but that's not a project name is restoration of the rural cemetery water tower, or
What did he call it last year?
I think they need to just come back and update.
Yeah, it
that.
was Rural Cemetery Water Tower Restoration Project. So, okay, so they just need to update the
Okay,
application for that, yeah?
then when you come down to, they're looking for more information on the funding. Number 7. No. Well, we've asked last time, what about the, at least investigate the state historical grant?
Okay, so why not? Okay.
You know, if they have looked into it,
I'm sure they did
identify that.
last year.
I
Okay,
don't
That's
know that happened.
okay.
Once they, I mean, you want some commitment that they will fill in a timeline before approval? Because they're gonna have the.
Is that a question for,
The historical commission who submitted this, right? They
yeah,
won't know exactly, but you'll have a idea of what work needs to be done and how long it takes and when you plan to go out to bid. All of those things could be answered.
you want it answered for the next meeting?
No.
I guess I'm confused on how I put this into the letter that has been done in the past.
Be prepared to add that as information becomes available. Often, you know, that information does become available, but the CPC doesn't get updated, and then you have to go hunting it down later.
What would be updating as we update and revise the applications? Because we do that through the process, because at the end, the application should have,
Correct. The point is, aren't you letting them know what types of things you're
no,
looking for?
yes,
revisions?
I'm just thinking how it fits, okay. Okay, keep going.
So implementation. Now, we don't get anything about implementation here. And I don't know if this is the wrong answer, because this is, I think this is what,
That the DPW superintendent would oversee it. Question 9.
implementation, this is the same thing as number 5.
So I'll just
So I
say the
think-
word, yeah, I think filling in the PDF, there were some of the fields that were linked. So when you typed in one, it automatically filled in the answer to other questions. So I think it seems like what Kevin tried to do, and since they had different space limitations, was get in that information somewhere, even if it's not necessarily in the right, under the right question, but just the one that had the most space.
Well, it's actually a copy from number 5 exactly.
Because you couldn't change that.
Number
Once you
9.
filled in number 5,
Number
Unless you
9
went back, yeah.
automatically-
it automatically filled in other parts of the PDF.
That's what I thought. So that question still needs to be answered.
Okay, oh, yep.
And the relevant experience is important. And I know you don't know who's going to implement it because it's going out to bid, but
Yes.
Excuse me, go ahead,
I
Claire.
can do it.
Brent has it up on the screen. I think it would be helpful if He showed it on the screen, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
I should have asked that, sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
So,
For those of us in remedial funding,
Okay,
so
so
go to number 5, and then you just would see that it is exactly the same as number, and we have an explanation for why that happened, and that's a, you know, this,
so you want number 9 to be answered,
right.
okay?
And if they don't know exactly, because they're having it go out to bid and things, like describe that process to you, I think, like,
Okay, we'll
How you
work
gonna pick?
together because you have the most comments on this, so keep going. But when I draft the letter, we're gonna have to go over this, just to make sure that I'm covering
Right. But,
the bases that you're bringing up.
can I just ask a question
Sure.
on number 5? It says that the DPW superintendent would oversee it. Does that need to be checked with him first of all?
He's been working with Kevin on this, but we'll get a commitment from him, just like we're getting a commitment for the
I mean,
maintenance.
technically, but. Technically, really, you're right, you know, should, but I think that
That's fine,
it needs to be clarified.
that's
Well,
fine.
so one of the questions is, it's a historic project with historic preservation, restoration. What experience does the DPW director have with historical materials and
Well, that's another
restoration?
question.
Well, that's the question, because it asks specifically in number 7. What experience does the proposed project manager have?
7's funding.
Number 7.
Sorry, number 9, sorry,
Oh,
number
okay.
9. So that was one of the questions in there, and you may not know who the project manager is, like you're collaborating with DPW and you're having I'm assuming you'll have a historic restoration company that's going to do the work, not just the carpenter down the street. So those types of questions need to be answered.
I think those are outstanding because they don't know what the roof, like,
Alright.
right?
So I'm saying that, but it should state that, because right now it looks like your director of DPW is going to be in charge of the historic restoration project. And I also question that for number 10. Is there going to be any special maintenance requirements for a historical building? Or does it just take regular, you know? If you fund it,
What's the warranty?
that, but this is more than just a warranty. What warranties go 10 years, 20 years? You know, so like if DPW is taking over control of or obligation of maintenance, they have to be aware it's a historic structure that it may need or doesn't need historic. You don't want, say the roof has a problem, a limb falls on it. You don't want someone going up and patching it with asphalt to be, you know, that sort of diligence and just putting it out there, that you want some awareness that it's a historic restoration maintenance, not just.
All right, so we'll draft, you'll have to draft the questions with me.
Okay. I think that's all, except for I recall from the last time, Kevin had submitted information on why he thought the different materials were there, but I think this will come out. I'm talking about number 2 on page 7. When you get that inspection, so you could, instead of NA, because NA could be not available or not applicable, but I think a better answer would be letting us know that that is something you'll be providing once you get that inspection done, right?
So the way this stands here now, you really don't know whether it's saying not applicable or not available.
Either way, there's a better answer than either of those.
Okay.
That you don't have a report now, but you're working on one, that's a better answer for looking at an application.
With the, okay, so just let's, not to make an issue of it, but if we're getting the opinion of a professional, I think somebody said Friday, that then, I mean, that should be a report that would be fall under this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're, yeah, so the reason is you're asking them to update this for the technical review, to update the application and your note, instead of saying we're gonna add that once we get it, it's just as NA, so the committee would say, we'd like you to, you know, make sure that gets added in when we get the information. I'm sure they plan to, but it just makes it better.
Okay.
You never know what people plan to. Try not to make decisions. That was it. Thank you.
All right. So we are good with. So the next.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you guys say that you think it is applicable? Shouldn't we say that?
Should we take a vote?
No, but you know, just,
Okay, does everybody believe this meets the requirements of CPA? Yes.
Yes.
said nodding head, yeah. Okay, what? Said nodding head.
Oh, okay, I was looking at the next. Is the application complete?
No.
No.
And I just went over and you also made some comments. You can add those to the letter we sent.
So what's the question you want me to ask?
It's nothing.
Okay, sorry.
You already did that.
Confused, so that's right.
I'm
Okay,
just so is it, and this is my inexperience, so the deadline was Monday. I'm assuming that, yeah, there can be a few things that are missing.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff,
that's why we do
Um,
this.
but, wouldn't something like that really be an activity that would have been done before submitting the application for the deadline?
Well, the problem we
Spend a
ran
year.
into is he's not having the architect or whoever the gentleman, the historical gentleman come out until after. If we've been very clear on not extending the deadlines, so he would have potentially missed once again the opportunity. So,
Okay, and the only reason that I'm asking this question is because last year. With the deadlines and missed deadlines, and it caused a lot of people. You know, a lot of problems, and then when in one of the couple of the meetings, when the. Handbook was updated and everything, the deadline was the deadline.
Yep.
But so I understand this, and this is just kind of like an extenuating circumstance.
Can I add something? Yep. I believe you also added into the handbook that all like updates will be done by a certain date.
By what?
You put a secondary deadline in for all these updates that may come in. And the
And
other
that deadline
You
is,
said that October 10th would be
Oh, okay.
determined. I don't think it was that all updates are in by then, but that we have to determine whether or not it's eligible for CPA funding, but that's the internal deadline we set.
And the other thing, Claire, historically, the CPC works with the applicant because most of these are not professional staffed organizations. It might be the first time they've ever submitted this kind of an application. So historically, we don't want to run into what you did last time. And I think
right, and
that
that's why I'm
October-
bringing this up.
for me, and again, I've only been on the CPC for a couple of years, I think. You get the application. There's always questions, Claire, there's always things that we're
Understood,
required
yeah,
to come
okay,
back, so. For me, the only piece really missing was the cost,
Okay,
but knowing that he's gonna have an idea of the cost before our next meeting. For me, it was just being able to fill that in, it's not like looking for 1,000 pieces of information that we're gonna run into an issue with
Gotcha.
not meeting the
Okay.
deadline. Because I really think we should adhere to the deadlines we set, we put a lot of time and energy into doing the handbook. And
well, that's yeah.
it's absolutely so.
All right, okay, I got it, okay, thank you.
Okay, next, why don't we do the Affordable Housing Trust? So, guess the first question is, does it meet the requirements? It's a yes. This is a tough one for me,
You
Alan,
guys
because I
called
hear,
Can you do like what you did? Oh, thank you.
yes, yes. So where it's a technical review, we're not necessarily gonna ask Ellen questions that she can answer for this, because we're gonna be sending it to the committee. So, I will go last on this one. I did have a couple of questions. So Katie, I will start with you and see, based on the application, do you have any questions, or are you looking for additional information?
Not at the moment.
Claire?
Yeah, no, not at the moment.
Okay, Grant?
I also didn't, I'd like to just return, well, just as homework for me, to return to what we approved last year to see if there were any, deadlines or kind of, that for the existing funding authorization that we gave them. But you know, it's up to 50,000, so that was the main question for me for the cost.
Okay.
But everything else I think is very similar to last year, so I don't have anything.
Okay. Kristen, did you have anything?
Not for the technical review.
Okay. And Ellen, I'm sure you don't for the technical review, but I'll ask.
I don't, thank you.
Okay, so the only question I have for the technical review is, actually I have a couple questions. The funding, the fundings requested are not tied to a specific project. I know that was one of the things we had talked about, and, I did have a conversation with Ellen prior to this, and I think, Ellen, I'm probably gonna answer my own question on this. But, the Affordable Housing Trust met and wanted to put in an application, and they didn't know whether they should ask for an extension or if they should do a broad application. So I can give my opinion as one member. And, I had shared with Ellen and the chair that I thought a broad application was the way to go versus an extension, after we had taken all the time to put the, Claire, as you mentioned, the deadlines and everything in place. So I'm assuming, Ellen, that was left broad for that reason.
Correct.
Okay, so then that took care of that question for me. Thank you.
Well, it was also brought last year, wasn't it? I mean,
And
Yeah,
They
that's
had-
what I'm a little confused by that question. I guess, Ellen, are you guys expecting to get more specific with the actual project?
Not necessarily. So I think we have been working on, very preliminary potential projects and nothing that is imminent. And so that was the conversation that we wanted to have with Lisa, is does it make sense to, wait until we have something that is more specific, or keep it broad, as general support for the trust, similar to what the application was last year. And so that was where we ended up. So I think, over the course of the next few weeks, the plan is for the trust to have more conversations with the CPC and share any details if there is anything on the horizon, but we don't anticipate that there is.
Lisa, I'll let you finish with your questions and I got a comment.
no, go ahead, comment.
So, remember last year, and I've spent some time going back and looking at our conversations. Unfortunately, we had that one blip, that one meeting where our recording didn't start till halfway through, unfortunately. But a lot of that was kind of the contingency of trust, and seeing how this year went. And I'm just, Ellen, just in full transparency, in preparation, and I'm sure this is not a surprise when we do have the committees together to discuss the Atwood Street project, obviously is concerning to some, because that was a specific focus last year. So again, a broad application again, and that concept of, again, that's why I was interested. It's another broad one, and we've yet to see what's going to come of the initial broad one. And so, and I think we all know what's being discussed. And so I think that's going to be a major topic for us all to discuss, or at least for me.
Sure, and to speak just a little bit, so when the trust met last week, we talked a good bit with some neighbors in the Atwood neighborhood, and decided that we weren't comfortable, both based on those conversations and just based on the trust's own thinking, with the offer for the water tower parcel to go ahead at this time. So the trust had made this offer to the select board to help with remediation on that site. The trust rescinded that offer. So Doug was at the select board meeting last night. I want to say, I don't know my days anymore. Either last night or the night before.
Tuesday, yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
I think, yeah.
So, we are trying to understand the opportunities that are out there, but we were not comfortable with the speed that was moving to get to a fall town meeting. So the trust pulled that back and wanted to take more time to understand the situation on the site, to have a lot more conversations with neighbors. So that is the update on that, but that won't be something appearing at the fall town meeting.
Yeah, I re-listened to that at some point. Like I said, all the time blends together. So I did hear that. Thank you. Again, just putting it out there. The fact that Atwood got targeted after, it was a topic last year as well, makes me wonder if we need to revisit the language, especially when it comes to high density housing that we already have in town, or higher density housing. So again, I just throw that out there. I know we're not discussing it tonight. This is a technical review, but in transparency and just in preparation, I want to put that on the table.
The last point I have, and I'm gonna put this in a letter, is, I'd be interested to know, under number 4, there's a sentence that already nearly 1,000 Southborough households, both renters and owners, are experiencing housing cost burdens, spending more than 30% of their income on housing. So one of my questions for the trust is going to be, I'd be interested in their discussions, if any, on having a lower AMI versus 80%. What considerations through your discussions have you had basically about that? If again, it will be a lower AMI than the 80%. And for anyone that doesn't know, that's the median income, which you have to make a certain percentage in order to qualify for a affordable home. And at an 80%, it's like you have to make more than, I think it's 80,000, something like that. But anyway, irregardless, that would be my question that I would ask the committee, is if they're considering using some of these funds to offset lower AMIs. So that's it for me, Freddie.
Yeah, well, my first question, and maybe I've missed it, but total cost of project. I couldn't find anything anywhere that said how much funding they were looking for.
Up to
Up to
50,000.
50,000.
Okay, eligibility, so sorry, that must be that thing that happens. You would expect it to be on the front page where it says cost of project, but so I'm assuming that the up to 50,000 is gonna be cleared up at some point.
A definitive.
Well, you don't go to town meeting and say up to 50,000.
I understand.
And then, under open projects. For the housing trust, it's a little bit different. Do you have any existing CPA funded projects? I think it would be a nice place to state how much funds in your bank account are CPA. Like, how much money do you have in the account for housing from CPA that are required to be used for CPA appropriate projects?
Okay.
I
I think that spreadsheet's out there, but we'll definitely get that.
It's up to the applicant to put it in the application for themselves.
I know, I'm just saying that I for Ellen,
Oh.
that it's out there, so I don't think that's a big.
No, yeah, they
That's all.
supplied information to me for the CP.
Yeah.
3, think. I think that was it, you don't have a project timeline, so. Right. Okay, I think the question was, and I'm just throwing, think that will come up later, never mind.
Sure. Okay,
One thing for me,
go ahead, Greg.
and this might have already been addressed, but I didn't see it, is in the previous process, I believe they had, it began the original application by listing the 9 functions in the affordable housing
Yes.
trust. And then we narrowed them down to, I think, 4 or 5
Yep.
that could be an allowed use. So again, I might have missed that in this, but
No, I
whether or
didn't
not they're
see it.
sticking with the 5 or however many it was, 4
Okay.
or 5 allowed uses from last time, or if this is a more expanded scope.
Just to speak to that, it is in there. It's the same
Oh,
bucket, I think it was 7 that the trust and CPC agreed to last year.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Did you have anything else ready?
Oh, is that's this here on the budget section, Ellen? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
On page 4 at the bottom.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, Ellen, this one will be an easy one for us to write a letter to. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just at the time here. Okay. So the next step is the recreation, and obviously that would meets the requirements. So I have a bunch of questions to put in a letter, so I'll just kind of go down the line and I'll kind of be last. How's that? Kate,
None really, pretty excited for this one, so
okay,
I'd like to proceed. At
awesome,
the moment.
great, Claire,
If I didn't get a chance to review it, I'll listen to your
do,
questions.
okay,
Lisa, could I give just a quick like 2-minute overview?
the problem is it's a technical review, Kristen, and
Okay,
the
that's fine.
applicants don't get you, sorry. I
No,
know
no,
what you're
that's-
trying to do and say, but and if I do it for one,
No, that's totally fine. I just wanted to explain why we might have some gaps but that's fine.
so Claire, you're all set for the moment.
Yes.
Okay, Grant,
Yeah, I have a few, and I'm not sharing just because I'm looking at my notes here, sharing the document,
Yeah.
So I guess some of these are technical and some are just general questions, so I'll try to parse them out if I can. The first question I had was about, the parking area or the parking lot. I know that in a previous application, I believe it was the Southbrook Historical Society's application for Babel Hall. We had a discussion about whether or not parking was a permitted use. They ended up pulling their application, so I don't know if we ever necessarily resolved that, but I did see, was it? I don't know if that, 109,000 of the 1.1 million was for parking. So I guess I have a question: is that really CPA fundable?
okay,
Supporting the recreational use, or whether or not it actually has to go directly towards the recreational use.
okay,
I'm not sure, but maybe some of the site prep and earthwork costs might be part of that if they're doing this site prep on the area that they would be doing the parking lot on. So I think that would be affected as well.
Should I answer, Lisa, or no? Just hold off on any answers?
yeah, because we're gonna put these in the letter.
Okay.
I know you wanted, this is what makes it tough, Kristen. I'm
No,
doing
I
this.
know. I
Clear.
just didn't know if it would help with the formulation of the questions, but that's fine.
Let's see, this is not really a technical part, I don't think, but just the splash pad. What's the expected life of it? I was checking the community preservation coalition's website, and I was talking about how capital improvements are supposed to result in permanent improvements to the properties. So I just had a question about how long the system generally lasts. Again, this is probably not technical, but maybe a question is the size of the splash pad. 8,000 square feet seems like a lot to me, but I don't have, I'm not experienced in that, so that's just a quick perhaps the question to me.
Is your question, what is an average size? Kind of just trying to,
Yeah, or why that size on the property,
Okay.
why is it needed, something like that.
okay,
Again, it's probably not technical, but since we're doing a letter,
Yep.
just explaining the situation with the baseball field, whether or not it's, is it not being used or is it being used, and, is that sport gonna be transferred to other facilities? I know that the application said that, I think they were in consultation or having talks with, I guess it would be youth baseball, or who runs that, but,
Yeah.
that's just a question I have as well. Let's see, question about the dog park, what the material would be, is it gonna be, turf or not? I was looking at the Community Preservation Coalition's website, and it seems to be that there might be some leeway there in terms of what the material is, but just, what materials being planned for that. Let's see. Just a general, I guess, question about the cost. Again, that would probably come out throughout the process in terms of explaining it, but maybe more about why is this needed, what's lacking in the current setup, why would this be a benefit to the town? Those kind of questions, I think. Again, that'll probably come out through the process, but
Yeah.
it'd be good to have some of that as well. Another one for me is, and again, I'll just preface this part by saying I'm not an expert on this, even though I tried to become an expert on it today. I was I was checking out the Community Preservation Coalition's website, and they had a site about protections and essentially ensuring that town's investments in recreational land remains permanent, I guess. So for historical project, we would think of doing a preservation restriction or a conservation restriction or something like that.
can you do that though, Grant? Can I just ask, I'm just so I'm clear in understanding of what you're asking. So the land is
Yeah.
always deeded, it's park. So, but things change within the park, like when we did the tennis courts and then they became pickleball.
Yeah, no,
courts.
sorry, I wasn't saying
Okay.
that there should be a.
Okay.
I was just
I
saying
wanna make sure.
like that.
Okay,
But yeah, so I guess I have a question about the status of the land, whether or not it is,
okay.
I guess, like permanently designated somehow as for
Park
park
or
purpose.
chapter 73, isn't it, Freddie, or something like that? Park.
This is the website I was on. I can send this to everyone.
Yeah, that would
if
be
it's
great.
Useful, but it's talking about essentially making sure that the land is permanently dedicated.
Yeah.
And that it falls under Article 97 of the state
97%.
constitution, which I know is used for conservation. I didn't know that it was used for recreation. They did have a kind of list of 4 ways for if land is eligible for CPA recreational funds here, highlighted, if you can see that.
Yeah.
And so, again, just want to see is this currently the case? If it's not, what steps can we do to make sure that if it receives CPA funds, that, it's covered under one of these kind of 4 categories? Again, I don't know, so.
Okay.
this
If
could
you
already
could
be-
forward that, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'll put that as a sample.
And let me just double check, but I think that is, I guess like just conceptual plans might be useful in terms of understanding like the layout of what it will look like, that kind of thing. I found the bid document helpful, or the cost estimate, but if we have any, it might be useful for the process to figure out where things are going on the parcel over, where it exists now and how it would change. I think might be useful to have those drawings.
Those will be added. They're just in progress.
Thank you. And I think that's it for me for now.
Okay. Freddie, I'll come to you next.
Yeah, I can wait.
So I had a few questions. I had a few people reach out to me too. So Kristen, and I know there's been a million surveys over time, and I know you talked about a survey in here and 100 people wanted, let's see, 100 people would like to see a dog park. So when was that survey done, Kristen? 2 years ago? Is that correct?
It's part of the master plan, I believe. So it's in accordance with the master plan. I think I got the document correct, that at that point in time, recreation is part of it, and the dog, don't forget, we funded a dog park. Unfortunately, we couldn't for Lundblad, but then subsequently for environmental reasons and the fact that et cetera,
Okay.
we couldn't build it. So
Okay.
it was something that was part of that plan. Yeah.
Grant answered, a bunch of my questions kind of carried over into grants as well. I would be asking, one of my questions would be, what safeguards are being put in place to shield kids between the splash park and the dog park? You know, some kids are petrified of dogs and screaming kids, as they will be so excited to be in a splash pad because that is like the coolest thing ever. And, you know, screaming kids with a dog I would be looking to see what protections would be put in place, whether it's mesh and the fencing or, you know, something to do that. And again, kids screaming on a playground and whatnot. I know some kids are petrified of dogs, so I'd be looking to see what type of mitigations you may be making towards that. Yeah, dogs afraid of kids too. And then I would have another question on, is there additional liability insurance that would be required? Because again, it's next to a playground, and if a dog jumps the fence. And another question would be, again, I think the conceptual plans might answer that, how tall the fence is gonna be. So what else? So yeah, again, I think one of my big questions just was about, you know, what type of outreach was done. We know how ineffective surveys tend to be, that people don't take the time to do them. So I would be looking for through the process, some real outreach, you know, for recreation. Just again, I just fear you're gonna get families at town meeting that are gonna stand up with, and I've heard from a couple that dog parks and kids and you know, it's a scary thing. Some people's kids are petrified of dogs. So again, there's could be safeguards put in place, but again, those were just some of my questions that I was gonna ask. And Freddie?
Yeah,
Ellen, I'll come to you. Sorry, let me go to Ellen first.
yeah, go ahead.
I always forget when you're on the screen. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, so I think my question was just around the budget. And so I appreciated the mention of the grant program that Recreation is exploring to cover a portion of this, and how the timing doesn't always line up with our application cycle. But so then just trying to figure out, you know, there's not enough money from CPC to fund this whole thing. So kind of how does that work if there isn't other funding in place? Yeah, and kind of what happens to the project if that grant doesn't come through or doesn't come through for enough money? And how do we kind of like get to a number of, you know, out of this 1.1 million, how much of, you know, can we actually cover out of that budget?
Go into that one. You probably-
Yeah, I would have spoken typically, historically, we don't get the budget numbers till October. I spoke with Carla yesterday and we're looking to get the numbers, working on getting them for October. So we don't even know how much is in the account. And it doesn't work to try to guesstimate because things fluctuate and they're finishing up. They just finished up their CP2s. We have a CP3 that they have to file with DOR. And then it's some other pulling information together from town treasurer. And so for your next meeting, I expect to have a full, you know, budget of what we're expecting, what's in the accounts.
So there's the numbers that obviously Carla's waiting for too, right? And what about the match?
The match is. So the match is based on, it's a separate component. There's one component is how much money is actually in the accounts. We have funds in accounts, and that is not a set and clear number till they balance, close out the books, and also, because there's investment income and that can have a up or down consequence. Then after that, you create the budget based on expected surcharge revenue. And I work with Brian closely on that. And then we do some work. I do work with the coalition and getting best estimates on where we think it will come in, what percentage of the match will be. And then we pull together the budget that way.
Okay, so without getting into the weeds. It's my understanding that every year and I'm talking about the state match, right?
It's the only match there is.
That every year the match has been decreasing.
Not true. Some
Okay.
years it has gone up.
Do we have like a history of, let's say, for the last 5 years, what the match has been?
It doesn't matter because it's what's happening right now. It's based on how many communities are pulling out, what the health of the fund, because the fund that they use for the distribution, we're not calling it a match anymore, the state distribution, is based on a fee for all the deeds 5. Right? So in a hot housing market, or real estate market, or refinancing market, more money goes in. If the market is slow, less money goes in. So you have that, the money going into the fund. And you also have, if new communities signed up this year, more money will be going out. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. Additionally, we get information on if there is in the past, there would be cash surplus from the state budget. And the coalition is a lobby agency that goes to
Maybe
get more
the,
funding.
maybe using the term match is the wrong.
Well, that's what we
term
always
to
call it.
use. Okay,
We
yeah,
always called
but
it.
it's essentially the state's contribution.
Correct.
Now, you're saying that it has not been decreasing?
It's been decreasing, but it hasn't, one year it went down low and then the next year it went up. It was like, I don't know, in the teens or something.
Well,
And then it
you
went
mean
up
the
to 38.
percentage difference versus the.
It went up to 38% one year from being like just.
Okay, we don't have a history of what it was.
We have a history, it was in the presentation that you,
I believe it's also on the state's website.
on the state
and also-
website, I can send that out to you,
All right, yeah,
but
I just was wondering.
it's not relevant to deciding what the surcharge is gonna be this year. I do a lot of research and come up with a number to recommend. And I have to say, I've been really very close for 20-something
Okay.
years.
Yes.
And then we make an adjustment. We always go under, we don't try to, overestimate.
Yeah.
But we try to get it right.
Let's finish, continue this application. I
I had
had
a couple of questions and now, so I have to go back in. My first one was, I can read my notes. I didn't thrown off the internet again.
Fashion kind.
Yeah, somehow they're not letting me. Okay, sorry, give me off, give me 1 second. The first question was.
Sure.
You okay, Claire?
Good point.
I was over here for a trip.
The name of the project.
Yep, it's on the back.
gets down in the Word document, but
Yeah,
I think it says Fayetteville Park improvements or something.
improvement.
That could be adding some trash cans. I think you can be a little more specific on that.
Okay.
And on the grant funding, I think it would be helpful to know a little bit more about what the possibilities are there. Like, if is it a $50,000 grant, or do they have 100,000, or is it, you know, we understand there's no guarantee, but what is the grant?
What's the potential for the
Yeah, the
grant?
potential, and also it opens in December, if you can give the timeline on when they approve it, because and in projects like this, it also, in the past, I was able to create a warrant article that
Yeah.
allowed for, if it required that a grant was applied for, and then it gave contingencies if the grant money was received, what would be allowed. And if not, there was a set project with the amount of funds that did add. That was for the trail.
I was gonna
project.
say, wasn't it trails? Yep.
It was.
Yeah.
And that was, it took a lot of work, but we now have that in place to know how to do it.
Okay,
So that was it.
that was it. Okay,
I-
all right.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead. No, go ahead, Rick.
sorry, just while it's in my head, on the funding question, I agree about the grant, getting a sense of what's out there and how much potential that they might be able to get from it. And also the 67,000 that Rec is
Yeah.
pitching in, how do they come to that number? I don't know, I guess we could ask, why isn't it more, if it's a large project, or why, how, or just how do they arrive at that,
Okay.
I guess would be
Yeah.
useful. That's it, thanks.
Okay. All right, folks, that's it. We'll put the letters together. I'll work with Freddie next week. We'll make sure we cover every bases, and Kristen, you from Recreation, before the middle of next week, roughly, maybe end of the week, we'll get your letter. And, we'll have you guys come in. I would just say, granted, the Recreation had a lot more questions than the others. I wouldn't be discouraged. I think these are precursors to what could be asked at town meeting, Kristen. So I think
Yeah,
this is.
they're all good questions, and I'm comfortable with all of them. I think we can answer all of them. It was kind of like, we had to change our plan around because of the schoolwork. So our capital plan shifted around. So this is a little bit, the work is in progress right now. So we'll be able to answer a lot of those.
Okay, I'm going to table till the end of the meeting, Kristen, the signage for Recreation, because if we
Okay.
don't have time, I think that's something that we could focus on at our next meeting, especially when Recreation will be here,
Okay.
if we don't get to it. So that would bring us up to the consultant contract renewal. We talked about this at the last meeting. Claire, you had a question. I had put up the new job description. That I was asking if everybody wanted to add, or everybody was comfortable with that, and Claire, you'd asked to actually see the contract itself. So, my goal tonight is to get this wrapped up, so, we can get this, to town, so, Freddie hasn't been paid since, June. So, but actually, questions are important, so, Claire, you had questions on this, so why don't we just let you ask away?
Okay, so, the job description was something that was put together for this year, not that, was there a job description previously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so this is updated. We took off some things that Freddie isn't doing now, and then we added others, specifically to some of the things that we added that we thought were important was on the back page under priorities. We changed a lot of the priorities from what was there in the past. That's the contract grant. Can you go to the job description? It's the other document.
Can I ask a quick technical question or administrative
Yes.
or something?
Go
Are
ahead.
contracts typically shared, like we're recording right now? Are they public information, I guess, in terms of other contracts in town?
It is public information, but I don't know that any other committee has shared it this in depth, but so let me just finish here, Kristen, and
Is there any sensitive info that I can't share on the screen or something in the contract? or-
That's basically what I'm getting at. I just want to be careful.
okay, hold on.
If I may say something,
Yeah,
the job description is something that is what you discussed. The contract itself is a legal document. I'm uncomfortable having
Okay.
you discuss a legal document that is reviewed by lawyers, and I don't have a lawyer sitting here.
Well, let me also say though, that the contract is created from the job description. The job
Okay.
description is listed
Right.
within the contract, and then the rest is boilerplate language.
Yeah, no, my first question is, how come what's listed in the consultant description and what's listed on the contract?
Because this is the old contract. This has to be updated.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
go ahead.
understand that, but there's a section that says regular operating duties. And they're different.
Different than,
You have the one that got
what I'm
updated,
saying is, this is updated.
right?
This is not in here yet because we haven't agreed that we're going to. We have to take a vote for this contract to be created and these duties updated from this job description. These will all end up in here. What's here under regular duties and special projects is coming out. And it's gonna be reinserted with what's in this document.
Okay,
Am I not understanding what you're asking me, Claire?
yeah, I guess maybe that's why it's still dated.
Correct. This is the old
First,
contract. We don't
2024.
have a new one because we haven't approved this. To go into
Okay,
this.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So everything will stay the
That
same.
part then makes sense.
Okay.
Alright.
Everything will stay the same in the contracts, other than what I'm asking everybody to approve with the job description.
Okay, then the question that I have
Yes.
is, under regular operating
Yes.
duties, number 5 is pay invoices. How does that?
But Freddie goes through and signs off on the invoices and makes sure that it meets the requirement. Do you wanna, I'll let you touch on that. Why am I doing
The
it?
invoices come to me. For all the
Right, right.
projects.
Yep.
I have to review to see that
Understood.
and all of that, so
Yep.
that's what I do. If it's written in it correctly, but I
Oh.
process the
I,
invoices.
why don't we change it to process invoices instead of pay, Claire? Is that what you're looking for?
I understand that one of the reasons that we have Freddie as a consultant is because she's working with these people who are
Yes.
providing the invoices.
Correct.
Okay, so she really is the only one who knows and can approve the invoices,
You and
correct?
myself.
With the chair. Gets a copy of it. I do the filing, I do the making sure that there's the right account, the right.
Understood. Yeah,
Budgeting,
I'm
all of
familiar with
that.
the process for submitting something to Carla.
Yeah, right, so that's what I do.
Okay,
Say review and approve or something, or review and
Review and
Process.
process.
but yeah, because the thing is that you're the one who are working with the people who are providing the
Right.
invoices. So you're the only one who can really say, yeah, what this vendor ABC is invoicing for actually was done satisfactorily.
Yes, it's a process. It's also making sure you have the vendor numbers, the insurance, all
I
of that.
understand all that, yeah, and that's part of submitting it for payment.
That's what that's about.
I guess then you could just say it's.
How about review and process invoices?
Yeah, I
That-
think
that's
I
fine.
mean, that's,
Totally fine. That's
That's
an
what-
easy
yeah.
change, Claire. Easy change. Okay. Did you have something else on there? So let me just say, some of the things we added just for clarity under priority projects is, Freddie's gonna work on finalizing a process. On closing out bonds on completed projects, and she's also gonna help to educate us on the bonding process and the bonding capacity, because I have a general idea, but I think it would be good for all of us to understand that process. So that's
Absolutely,
something
yeah.
new that we've added for her
Right,
as
yeah.
well. And, okay, go ahead. I just wanted to add that, just.
Okay, so track funded projects and communicate with the project managers. When you use the term project manager, these are the people, for example, we talked earlier about. With the roof on the water tank, there would be a project manager for that.
Yeah, that's an inappropriate language. Where is that showing up?
Third bullet, go up a little bit, just above that. It's 2 bullets above. There you go. Track funded projects and communicate with project managers. That
It's
language
project
is,
proponent.
that language was in there in the
Well-
last, so you wanted to say proponent?
So the project manager, right, the person doing the work, it's not who I communicate with unless absolutely necessary. So that, for example, on the, townhouse restorations, I didn't go out there and talk to the guys in the hard hat.
No, you were dealing with John Parent.
He was not the project, well, he might have been the project manager, but he was the, project proponent, right? Like on site, there might have been a manager of the construction workers.
Right.
That's very different. I talked with the, whoever is submitting the invoices.
Okay,
So like for recreation, it would be the recreation,
so. I understand what you're talking about. Okay, because we just discussed it, but is that the right verbiage to use for? I mean, if you guys are comfortable with it, then
So we're gonna change, take managers out. And you would suggest Freddie adding.
what
project-
does it say on the application?
yeah, that
Name
that's
of applicant, so. Contact person.
right.
So I use,
Okay, so tell me what we wanted to say.
To be consistent with what's on the application,
Project applicant.
the applicant.
Okay, to
Yeah.
communicate with,
Yeah,
instead of project manager, we're just gonna say applicant
The
with
applicant.
the applicant, okay?
well, they're not the applicant once it's approved and it's funded, they're no longer an applicant.
Project
So it's
proponent.
another term. I think manager just had always been okay, no one questioned it, but,
because they're proposed, they've already applied.
Yes.
Um. Project, how about
Proponent.
project
Project sponsor?
Representatives.
representative, that's a good one.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do
representative
that.
rep- project representative.
Okay. Got it. Good catch, Claire.
Okay, so under the priority, and I guess those are the ones that you were gonna talk about, the grant agreements, what are
Yes,
the
so-
expectations?
Right, so once, like when we talked to town council and he went over what we could do. So Freddie would, draft those, whether it's I guess, grant agreements are tough because we don't really do them very much. But like he said, letter of expectation, what was the language we agreed on?
So grant agreements are only for non-town
Right.
entities, is what we have been advised by town council. So we do have that if somebody is a non-town entity with an application. Letter of expectations is what we had agreed on, and
Right,
I think that is something that the committee, not for tonight, because it's not the topic, but we want to revisit for last year's, because we always, there's still a place for having those.
okay. And understand. The only reason that I'm asking these questions. Is because of a recent. Issue that I talked about. With another committee that I'm on. And that's the only reason. Okay?
Yep.
For clarification. And to put processes in place that are not there. Okay, sorry, I need to be tossed into my head.
Okay.
Okay, okay, finalize closing out. Help educate, that we don't need any. That's kind of a new program, help educate, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
because we're always in the pack, well, since I've been on it anyway,
Okay.
Grant, correct,
All right.
you've been on it as long as, I think we're the, you know,
Okay,
the oldest ones. Typically, it's just Freddie comes and updates us, but I thought it was important that we have a better understanding of how she got to the numbers that she got to.
May I
Right.
state that I
Yeah.
used to always, every year, go through it. And the committee decided they didn't need that level of detail. But you also have a new committee who doesn't understand bonding, so. You know, but when you've been there for many years and it's just give us the numbers. So, I think that's why it's on there now to update everyone.
Yeah, and if someone doesn't want to know more about it, then they don't have to partake in that discussion, but I just think it,
Right.
for me, it was important because I don't have a firm grasp either. And I, you know, being a process person, I kind of like to have a better understanding.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Freddie not doing a good job on it or anything, it's just,
right,
it's Some things I don't know.
So tonight, we're agreeing on this, on the,
Two things, we are. Agreeing on this,
right,
and then we're gonna vote on renewing the contract.
okay. The only thing that I think this is missing
Yes,
is, and I was just surprised, and maybe it's just not the process that was used before. That at the end of last fiscal year, in June, the committee was not asked to approve invoices. I'm not talking about from the vendor, but I'm talking about invoices that you submit, and I don't know what that process is.
so the process for like Freddie's invoices, those come to me.
Okay,
Myself, and I think Kristen, don't we both have sign approval?
The
Yes.
committee voted for the chair
And
and
the
the
vice chair.
vice chair to have signage on
Yep.
the invoices.
the only reason, once again, that I'm bringing this up is it's a transparency kind of thing. As a consultant, I almost feel like a lawyer, okay,
Yep.
you know, it's, you know, in the different projects. And where I think that the committee just wants to make sure that they are covered with, I understand that her position and administrative work and everything is all part of the CPA funding.
Mhm.
I understand all that. But I just, and not knowing what the history of the invoices have been or what it comes up to every year. I don't know if there's a correlation to the amount of total for the year and the number of requests that have to be reviewed. I think it's a fair question unless you disagree.
So let me take a stab at it and then, so. Last year, I'm gonna use last year as an example. Last year, because we held the. Applications open longer
Right,
and then everything was rushed and we had a lot more meetings.
yeah,
Freddie's hours were exhausted and she basically did work for nothing. Because CPA was out of money. That's not always the case. We used to have a minute taker,
right,
but we had put such a burden last year on the way that we did things, which is why we have revamped the handbook and we put new processes in place. That, I mean, certainly the invoices Freddie give are detailed. Where it's such and such a day and correct me if I'm
but
wrong.
why are those not shared with the committee?
Because the committee has voted for sign off on those invoices. To be with the chair and, I mean, you can see them
Is that
anytime.
an
It's public
annual,
record.
is that an annual event or is
An
that
annual
for
vote.
perpetuity, so? to
No,
speak?
it's an annual vote.
Oh, okay.
Now, do you wanna add anything?
What?
We did that when Kristen became vice chair, wasn't it? I can pull the minutes and.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
We did-
All right, okay, I
No,
understand.
but you can see invoices at any
No,
time.
right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, it's never been, historically, the committee doesn't. Sign off on the invoices themselves. It's delegated to the, yeah.
Right, okay, all right. Thank you.
So is there something you wanted to add? You said that you wanted to add something.
I just think there should be I don't know, I guess I just think it would be nice for the community for the committee to know. But that's just, I don't think.
So you want the committee to sign off on the invoices instead of,
You know, I don't wanna say. You can't say too much because it looks like you're not trusting, and that is not the case at all. But it would be just very, very interesting to find out how many hours are being spent on these different projects. And you brought that up. It was, you know, something that she ran out of hours.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that would just be something that would
well, I
be,
mean, the committee can certainly get a copy of her invoice
Yeah,
every month.
okay,
I mean,
all right.
that's, if that's what you're looking for, that's simple enough.
Yeah.
And
I
if somebody has an
think it's
issue, they
just-
can question, they can question it, but.
the reason that I'm bringing it up is because I didn't get on until March. And then when June came, I just thought it was a little bizarre the way it was done, but, you know, I said, well, it's always been done that way, so whatever.
What was done?
What, bizarre that,
That we were not asked to, review the invoices, but I didn't realize until I went back. I think it was a couple days ago, that there was a sign off. That essentially the committee had signed off to having that happen.
Yeah.
And last year I wasn't part of that. See, I wasn't on the committee.
and I mean, any committee I've ever served on that had a consultant, the committee didn't sign off on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
was
don't
just gonna say the same. It's a good question. I was just gonna say the
Yeah.
same thing. It works that way for rec too.
I mean, again, happy to provide the invoices.
No, I know, it's public record.
Right, but I mean,
So,
it,
but,
it,
you know, if
you
I
know, I
wanted
mean,
to.
are you asking the committee to vote on them? I mean, we can ask everybody their thoughts. I mean, I don't know that personally,
I don't think it's a vote. I think that maybe, as a committee members, we, go forward. I'll just ask it in a meeting, you know, how much is this taking? You know, what's been produced and
well,
how much is this taking? Is it within guidelines? If it's like not to exceed, what is it, like 35 hours a month?
No, it doesn't work that way.
some months it's more, some months it's less.
Special projects, like, so
Okay,
you
but
had a
in the
situation.
But in the contract, it says not to exceed 35 hours a month.
Unless it's a special project, which for town meeting fell under the special project purview, obviously. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be answering.
No, I
just-
can just answer that, but situations come up. You had a chair resign right before.
Right, yeah.
And I won't tell you how many phone calls I got.
Yeah.
Helping.
We had a
hand
lot.
holding. Before that.
Yeah.
Ben ended up being chair unexpectedly. We had a situation where there was. A lot of.
Yeah,
Application
no,
questions.
and it says here additional hours may be, I'm fine with that.
There's a
Okay.
set budget because you have only so much money in the admin and we're very aware of what
Well,
that is.
that's the other thing, and I think that, so. Keeping in mind what the cap is on that in admin.
Mhm.
Okay,
And that's why, again, we're billing monthly. We can't until obviously we're gonna play catch up for the last couple months
Right.
because we didn't have a contract, but once it's a contract, we're just gonna bill monthly. And again, that's, nobody's hiding anything. We'd be happy to share. That's something we could share with the
but I
committee
didn't
and.
say that.
What are you trying
I
to
know.
solve for? Like, are you trying to show,
It's-
find out how many hours he's using on each project or?
Absolutely.
That's-
But it's sometimes it's more than just projects. You know, we have meeting prep, we have.
I read all of the things in here. I understand what that is, and it would just be from an admin, position.
It's not an
Um,
admin position.
That, things like preparing agendas, meeting rooms and stuff. I think maybe that should be the committee versus a consultant. But I'm not gonna get into it. We've got a hard stop at 9 o'clock, so. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have, she's a consultant to help with use her expertise.
I'm gonna use EDC as an example. EDC has had a consultant and the consultant took care of a lot of different things, setting meetings sometimes, minutes sometimes. I mean, it varies, Claire, and it kind of varies here as well. And you can't put everything in this document that Freddie does. There are so many different things. We could be on a phone call leading up to meetings and we talk about 15 different projects.
Right.
So that's why we put it under like meeting prep. We leave it broad because again, if we wanted her to start tracking the 2 minutes she spent on this or the half an hour.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
That's tough.
let's be
Why don't
realistic.
we do this? Going forward, you'll see the invoice and it may answer your question. It may
Right, well,
give you
there's
what you're
there's
looking
going to
for.
be, I mean, we're already like 2.5 months into.
Correct.
This so once this contract gets signed,
Then it's a month,
then you'll be putting together an invoice.
right?
And we'll go from there.
Fair enough. Okay. And then again, we can certainly have this discussion again.
It's just, I think it's just good business for the committing for CPC to require that.
And again, anybody that has a question on how Freddie's hours are spent can just request a copy of the bill, it's public record, you know, so.
Right.
I think over the last year, especially with Ben leaving and the application staying open, I mean, we were right up to the warrant going to print. Still going back and forth with town council and everybody trying to get these things done.
It
And
happens all the time.
Well,
Just
I know it does, but I'm
strange
just,
way of doing things.
I've never heard of any other committee that does this. As their consultant to have the whole committee review their invoices every month. I've never heard of it. And I'll be saying, you know, there's a trust factor here. I do the work, you see what happens, the committee runs smoothly, and they have a chair. You don't trust the chair to review my invoice and think it's good. I understand public record, but I've never heard of a committee doing this kind of conversation to a consultant in a public meeting.
Well,
Never
you
heard
ask
of
your
it.
Yeah,
question.
I just want to voice my opinion. I think if anything, I'm always concerned that, like Lisa just said, we're overutilizing Freddie in terms of what we ask of. Last year was a huge example. And I think that's why we were like, one of the many reasons, our time as well, we're like, we gotta, you know, tighten our process, because there was some applications that quite frankly, we probably spent way too much time on, and Freddie did as well. So I really think my concern more is that honestly, that sometimes that we're not, you know, we're not putting too many hours on the plate. I rarely am concerned about whether or not those hours are being utilized correctly.
Yeah, I'll just chime in, and I really agree with what you just said, Kristen. I think it's just important information for us as a committee to have, to understand, you know, if the contract is saying up to 35 hours per month and you're regularly going over that, then maybe next year it needs to be a contract with more hours. I think it's just important for us to have that information. Not that anything's been mishandled or hours have been misspent, but just for us, you know, to all be able to understand what that is.
Okay, can I say?
Yep.
This isn't something I am proud to admit to. You have a certain amount of funds in the admin money, which covers some other expenses, so
Yeah.
we're always aware of it. We're always tracking that. I'm not going over what's allowed to be spent. Saving money towards the end so that there's enough to cover something else that might come in. So for the past 2 years, I diligently worked for this committee till June 30th. I didn't get paid from April on.
so I think what we're
I
gonna do,
didn't get paid from April on.
Last fiscal year.
There might have been, I don't know exactly when in April, and the fiscal year before. Because I have been committed to the work of the CPA, and when the funds ran out and needed work done, and that was why process last year was not right.
Right. Wasn't anything you wanted to repeat. Let's
Never
put it
want to
that way.
repeat it, but the work needed to be done, and then you lost your chair. And then you had the whole thing with I mean, think of the things that have come up in the last few years. You had the petition. You had some other things that came up that were huge with the application process. I stuck it through, and I didn't get paid for the work I did. From April on, I was here and I did the work.
And that's really, really very.
Stupid of me, I understand.
No,
It's embarrassing to admit.
okay, folks,
But
we,
both ladies made, but Ellen and Kristen made the point, it goes two ways, because if you're tracking it, then you're finding out that there's too much on your plate. I mean, for the life of me, I can't see why you're doing the agendas and stuff, but that's,
well,
Are you
those
volunteering too?
Claire, that's the old, look at the new sheet.
okay, all right.
Some of the
Gotcha.
things, we took things off.
Yep.
Like the agendas that came off,
Draft and post agendas on the new one,
it's not where,
on the new one, regular operating duties.
okay. Well, we review them, so I send them in, but Freddie still reviews them with me, but so again, we're running out of time.
And to answer it, we thought the handbook fixed it. Right.
So going forward, every month, committee can see the invoices. Committee has an issue with the invoices, or the committee doesn't trust that things are being done, then certainly it's within this committee's power to say, we want to sign off on the invoices, and so be it. That's fine. Going forward, we'll do it that way. Or if people want things to change, I mean, I think we're gonna have a problem. If we don't get this done tonight, this contract done tonight, it's not fair to Freddie. It's not fair.
I'm ready, so, I'm fine with this, with the, changes that, you have. And I guess it's gonna be plugged in here, so we're voting on something that's gonna
We
be
never-
changed and.
That typically the
That's the-
committee, since I've been on it, granted, you ever seen? That the chair has always had the authority based on the vote of the committee with this to sign the contract.
I believe so, but
I mean, again, if you guys
prefer not
wanna
to
do it
comment,
differently,
yeah.
that's fine. Well, she'll just get put off being paid another
To be
month.
honest, I don't.
No, I don't wanna see that happen. I think everybody understands how I feel.
And that's fair enough. I
The
get
way
it.
it's, you know,
So you want to approve this tonight, you want Mark to re-input the contract, and then you wanna come back and you wanna vote on the contract. Is that-
no, because that's going to delay Freddie.
It is, but if that's what
getting
you're
paid. I
looking
don't want
for.
that to happen, and I think it's pretty simple enough that they can make the changes. Believe me, I have a couple of these contracts myself, and I know what the process is. So I don't want anything to, from this end here to delay Freddie getting paid.
So,
I'll,
no, it's
Go
fine.
through
We'll
this.
go through this, but I think going forward. I don't want there to be questions on anything, so I am not, Kristen, if you wanna sign off on the invoices, you can, I'm not. The committee can take a vote on every invoice and do it,
I think that's unnecessary.
you know,
Do we vote on it?
no, typically the chair signs up, I'm not gonna.
Can we vote on
No.
what we wanna do?
how about I
personally
make a
think
motion that we do these both together? I make a motion to.
I just
Um,
wanted to add one thing, and it seems
Okay.
punitive now, but I would really love to see the annual report from us. Getting into the annual report.
Okay.
There's a template from years ago. I just think it's really important if people are looking at us and wondering if we should even exist. Okay, we should have beautiful reports, not beautiful, but say, here's the things that we did. Open it up. Here it is every year. These are your dollars that you voted on and you voted on in this.
So Kate, are you volunteering to work with Freddie on that? Boom, how's that? Okay, I'll add it in under priority, how's that? Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, I used to work on it with Betsy, who you used to have. She wrote beautiful ones every year.
Okay, so we'll put it under regular, I'll add it under regular.
Otherwise, I think that's great. I personally don't need to see invoices. I'd rather not. I feel like we have enough on our plates to
Yeah.
review, and look at how far we've gotten in the agenda tonight. I think less is more. I don't fully know what Freddie does, but I know she does great things, and that's something new.
Well, we'll provide them. If anybody wants it, so. Okay,
Okay, so Madam Chair, I made the motion to approve both of these.
okay,
You're only approving the,
approving the job description, that's, it's gotta be two separate
The
motions,
Job description
yes.
and then the edits carried over, or however you
So we need
guys
to-
want to do it on the
We need to do
contract.
two, so we need to approve the job description, so let's do that first, and then we need to make a motion to renew the contract, it's two separate.
Okay, all right, I make a motion to approve the job description
As amended, how's that?
as
Okay,
amended.
thank you. Grant, you seconded? Okay, roll call vote, Kristen,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Katie. Yeah. Claire,
Yes,
Grant.
Yes.
Lisa, yes, okay. So we have a motion to renew Freddie's contract.
so moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Okay. You, I'm just trying to make this all done, so don't lose it. Okay, roll call, Kristen,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Katie, yes, Claire,
Yes,
Grant,
Yes.
Lisa, yes, okay. Thank you. All right, so we'll get that taken care of. Kristen, I'm gonna put off the signage, okay? So I'll put off the minute taker discussion as well. I'm just gonna try to whip through these. If we're a few minutes late, we really need to approve the minutes. They're on the website as drafts, but we really need to try to get those done. So, sorry, somebody's,
I didn't know if we wanted to just schedule a quick Zoom to get through those administrative things. I mean, you guys have the signs. If we want, we can put those up. And we could approve the minutes and like a quick Zoom if we want.
we certainly could do that. That's fine. I mean, the drafts are out there already, so, okay. So I'm just gonna give a couple really quick updates. At the select board meeting where the CPC discussion was, I wasn't gonna speak. We had talked about me not speaking, but I saw a presentation that a select board member put up and I felt it was important. So Kristen and I went and listened and I did speak. So, but the board voted 3-2 to continue on the path that we're on. Update on the preservation restriction on the townhouse. I spoke to John Parent today. We're a month to possibly 2 months away from getting that done. The lawyers are finalizing the language now. The 5-year outreach plan, I did an outreach, granted it was only like 10 days ago, so I haven't gotten any responses back for trying to put together a 5-year plan. Yeah, those are my updates. Can we set meeting dates? So obviously, we're gonna want to do a quick admin meeting to take care of the minutes. So if everybody could just check if there's a day next week that works. We'll try to keep it to, the shortest can be that and
Does a quick morning meeting work for anybody if it's just Zoom?
I don't know. Ellen, would a morning meeting work for you? Grant?
Yes. Yeah.
It's tough.
It would have to be before my workout.
Yeah, it has to be before her workout.
And you start at what time?
8:30, Monday through Thursday.
Get the kids ready.
Yeah, the kids too.
Yeah, so mornings would be tough for Katie. So, is there, again,
If we're doing Zoom only, I can do any afternoon, evening, like 5 o'clock.
okay,
If we need to do a morning, I could do like Friday before 9.
yeah, I think
That's the only one that would work. for me.
we lose Katie, so
Yeah.
is there a night, why doesn't everybody look at Wednesdays for your two? Well, it's just an admin meeting with minutes and stuff, so. How about next Wednesday?
I can do that.
That is, hold on one second, wait, I'm
24th.
sorry, the 24th.
That works for me.
Okay, Alan, does that work for you?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, what's a good time, everybody? And again, we're gonna keep it as brief as possible.
I'm flexible. I can do whatever works for you guys.
Alan, does with the kids and dinner and everything, does 7 work better than 6:30?
Actually, if 6:30 worked, then we could do bedtime after.
Okay.
But
6
7's fine
everybody?
if that's better for everybody too.
I can do 6:30.
6:30, okay, so the 24th, that will be a Zoom only. We will do the minutes and, the minutes and I think that was it. Kristen, did you mention something else for the Zoom or just the minutes?
If people want to look at the 5 signs that we have ready for the rec projects and we want to approve that, we can do it. If we want to save that for a meeting in October, we can do that as well. It's just we
We
have
do
those
that.
signs.
Okay, why don't we do that? We'll just we'll just keep this to just minutes. It should be
Yeah,
like,
cause it's like
Brief,
4
brief.
sets, isn't it?
okay.
You had something about a
Yes.
minute taker too?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just want to update, it's been really hard for me to try to do all these minutes and stay on top, so. I think we should consider, we did it before, I will say I reached out to Susan that does planning board, she's unavailable, Bridget that does select board is gonna get back to me. She just got on a committee in her town and she doesn't know her time restraints, so, for now, we'll keep going, but
I'll do tonight's minutes.
would you, that would be great.
I took a bunch of notes.
That would be great, and we have,
There'll be minutes, they're not gonna be hours.
no, it's fine, we also have recall. AI, which you can actually put in and they'll give you a summary and like a transcript.
Oh, right, yeah, no, I've learned to do minutes.
Okay,
In
that's
minute fashion.
I shouldn't even be saying that, you
Okay,
know.
so you can put that in, I'll put that in the minutes, Claire volunteered.
There you go, Claire volunteered, so that would be great. So then we just need to look forward. Because once we get the letters out, we need to be able to invite everybody to come. So if that's the 24th, what does it look like for everybody? Either, do Wednesdays work for everybody?
Generally, yeah.
Is,
When advisory starts meeting, we'll do their limits.
okay, so they're on, so would that Thursday be better?
Thursday historically have been better because Grant, doesn't historical sometimes meet on Wednesdays?
We're kind of all over the place right now, it's just.
So,
Okay, so why don't we do, does Thursdays work, Ellen and Kristen? Yes, okay,
It
so
should
why
be
don't we,
fine.
okay. We can look at either the 8th or the 15th. Last year, when we had the groups come in, now granted there was 5. We had them come in 2 separate meetings to go over the review with them. I don't know that we need, Freddie, I don't think we need to do that. I mean, one of them is pretty,
so historically, what CPC had done was
Yeah.
have one scheduled 2 meetings. One was penciled in if needed, so that you have them come in and give presentations.
right,
And then sometimes you need them to come back. And then you have that one there
okay,
if
so,
needed.
okay,
And that's why they would usually do, because what you want to be aware of is you have October,
well, that's
Then-
what we're looking at.
right? And if you do the 2, you don't want to have somebody have to come back to a meeting in November when the next thing is you've got the holidays and then you've got your warrant articles needing to be done by the end of December.
I'll just note, we set a deadline of October 10th for taking a vote on determining project eligibility. So,
Yeah.
as we haven't done that, I think we would have to do it for 10th.
So what
If
are
we
we,
wanna
the
meet it.
9th? Is everybody available the 9th?
I'm free.
What day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday, okay, yep. Thursday the 9th. Do we want to start at 6:30 or 7?
I vote 6:30.
Okay.
6:30.
Go ahead,
I'm
Kristen.
sorry, I'm sorry to be a pain. I'm trying to pull up my son's soccer schedule to see if it's an away game or not. Give me 2 seconds. What was the date, the 9th?
The 9th.
Oh, actually, I'm fine that day. 6:30 is fine.
6:30. Katie, you think 6:30 with the kids and dinner and everything
Yes.
work for you? Okay. All right, so we'll do the 9th and let's tentatively schedule, either the 16th or the 23rd as a placeholder. In case, go ahead.
I'm just checking the Conservation Commission meetings. They don't have a member, but they meet on Thursday, so
The 23rd.
the 23rd.
Yeah.
So out of courtesy, wouldn't schedule it then.
Okay, and people do 2 weeks back to back, the 16th as a placeholder.
Yeah, I just can't, that day we do have a game, so 7 would be better.
Ellen, does that
Fine.
work for you? Okay, Grant?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's penciled in, right?
Yeah. And then, let's quickly do, I really have to go in a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
minutes. I have to still go home and cook dinner at my house before I go to bed, so. If we get into November then. I am away. The 13th. So it would have to be either the 6th or the 20th. What, anyone, I know it's hard to schedule out this far.
I think
I know I cannot do the 6th.
Okay, so how about the 20th? Because Thanksgiving is the 27th.
I'm fine with the 20th.
Are you good with the 20th?
uh,
20th of November?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get some
Concom
calendar
too.
first.
okay, 6:30,
6:30.
I prefer 7 that day.
you prefer 7,
Sorry.
okay, 7 that day? That works?
In general, I like.
Right.
6:30.
Okay. And then, again, December's, it's hard to schedule December now unless we just schedule one meeting, because I don't know if we're gonna need a second, depending on where we're at in the application process, and it's tough with the holidays.
Better
So we have to
schedule-
make a decision by the 30th, sorry,
Oh,
they're
I'm
looking for
sorry.
their dinner.
I cannot do the,
Could we discuss December in our administrative meeting? Because now I've really got to sit down and look at
Yeah, I know.
I
the
actually can't
calendar.
do the virtual. I'm sorry.
You
about
can't do the, okay, Grant can't do the 20th,
Sorry about that.
so. And Claire, you don't know if advisory's meeting on the 19th.
No, there's nothing scheduled, so.
So would you be okay if we, can everybody look at the nineteenth that week? It's a
The
Wednesday.
meetings are recorded, so I can just go.
Okay.
Do the minutes.
Or the fifth could work as well.
Yeah, or the fifth,
What is the fourth?
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
I know it's the fourth. It had a color on my
election
calendar.
day.
election day, yeah.
Election day.
So we
that-
can do either the fifth or the
Well, what was wrong with the
19th.
sixth?
Either
We
one
never-
for me.
Christmas got a meeting. So if you want to do it sooner, we can do it the fifth, or if we want to do it later, we can do it the 19th. Which is a Wednesday versus, they're both Wednesdays, the fifth and then,
I think just because we were so crunched for time last year that we should do it earlier rather
Okay.
than later and.
so
hopefully
November
get it
fifth.
done, you know?
Yep.
But that's just me.
Ellen, does that possibly work for you?
Yeah, I'd prefer the 19th if possible, but can do
Okay.
the 5th if we need it.
Okay. So can everybody do the 19th?
Yes.
Okay. Katie? Yep. Okay. Kristen?
Yes.
Claire? Yeah. Okay, and then we'll leave December for our next meeting.
Is that
So
7 or 6:30 or?
that is the 19th, Ellen, what, 7, 6:30? What works for you?
What works for everyone else, since I was difficult about the date.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. You can't.
6:30 is fine for me that day, if that works best.
Yeah.
That's all I
Okay.
can do.
Okay, so
Sounds good.
just quickly, we're doing a Zoom on the 24th. And October, we're doing the 9th at 6:30. We're tentatively holding the 16th in case we need it. There's a placeholder at 7, and November 19th at 6:30
Yep.
is another scheduled meeting. Okay.
I'll have to
And
take that off the recording.
I'll text it to you, Claire. Okay, so that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh, second.
Oh, that was quick. Okay, okay, and all in favor, Kristen,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Katie, Claire,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Lisa, yes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Lisa. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
We got a lot done.